Hello summoners, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to talk about the John Mulaney challenge, and I'm going to go through every single fight one by one, and I'll leave the timestamp of all the fights in the description and also as a pinned comment in the comment section. So if you're looking for a particular fight, you can skip to that. We are going to talk about all the nodes and the tricky parts and the best counters. I'm going to show you a few counters and we're going to discuss potential counters. So let's get started. So first fight here is going to be this Howard the Duck. Compared to all the other fights, this is one of the easier ones in this challenge, and as long as you bring a nullify character or anyone who can handle rage node in general, you should be good here. So in my opinion, the best character here is Black Widow Clairvoyant. This is a great fight to heal up your Claire because of the if you use your SP2 in the bleed phase, you get massive regeneration, and because it is a longer quest, a character who can heal reliably at the start of every single lane is really good. Now if you are doing good on regeneration, you can shift to the incinerate phase and do a lot of extra damage which is not restricted by the rage node. I also use Dr. Doom here, and he works really well as well. I went for special 2s and the incinerates were doing a pretty decent amount of damage. It was about 108-110 hit fight even at the final Howard the Duck, so he is also really good. But if you make mistakes, and if you need to keep an eye out for Thunderquack because it can do some serious damage, and over this really long quest it will add up, could make you use a few potions or maybe an extra revive. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And whenever the opponent, whenever the Howard uses special here, that is the only way you are going to gain any power. So general doom cycle will not work, plus you don't really need the fury because of the rage node and everything. To mention a few other characters who I think would be really good here, I would say Sorcerer Supreme, Symbiote Supreme, Morningstar, Archangel, Longshot should all be really good here. And if you have any more characters in mind that are really solid against this Howard the Duck, then do let me know in the comment section down below. And for this Doom fight, again the strategy is going to be to go to to bait his special attacks, get to 2 bars of power, use our SP2, then whenever he gains a lot of furies, then we're going to use our SP1 to nullify those furies and also the armor ups and stuff. We are running Mystic Dispersion, but we will not gain any power from nullifying those bars because the only way we are gaining power here is when Howard the Duck throws a special attack. So here, as you can see, that the incinerates are doing a pretty decent amount of damage. It is still going to be a really long fight. I am going to cut to the end here. And now, as you can see, we are pretty close to the end. We are going to bait another couple of special ones, go for our SP2, and that will finish off this Howard. Roughly 100 hits and he will go down. Masteries wise, I do think Suicides is a very viable option for this challenge, especially if you have both Clairvoyant and Aegon, because between the two of them they can handle about 85 to 90% of this challenge and they work really well with Suicides. Plus then I would say the third best option for you if you do run Suicides is going to be Corvus Glaive. He can get 2 charges, the Mutant Tech 1, and then he will be really good for the Mysterio and the Warlock, I imagine. Now the second fight here is going to be this Gwenpool. She is a great opportunity for you to build up Aegon. She has as you can see, her combo meter is going up, and after 30 you can't reliably parry her because of her defensive ability accuracy. So make sure that you know about that. And we also have Bane, which could be really annoying, and because every single time you fight her it will be some extra damage, and Archangel here doesn't have any healing, but Archangel is probably the best counter. So in the first Gwenpool I built up my Aegon to 240 something hits and then quit the fight because I was at 10% from all the Bane damage and stuff. Now Clairvoyant is a great option because this has power shield, and look at that regeneration, we almost came back from the dead. So the second fight for Claire is actually really good, and you also it has Polka.power, so whenever you have debuffs on the opponent you gain power. And with Claire you just have a lot of debuffs, in all 3 phases you have access to 3 different debuffs. And yeah, it's just a great fight for Clairvoyant in general. I would say that it is definitely a lot longer than Archangel, but it worked, and you can end this fight at a full yellow bar, so that is definitely something you should consider. So as you can see, we are going to use another special 2, and we are in the incinerate phase, so we did some extra damage there. Now if you don't have clairvoyant and you don't have archangel, then this will probably be a slightly tougher fight. Nick Fury in his second phase can do a lot of work here. There, like, she has unstoppable and unblockable. That was a, and when like she is unstoppable, you can't parry her because now she has a 154 combo, so your parry will fail and you get bane on yourself. That can happen, so that could be really annoying. But again, with clairvoyant, now I'm back to the bleed phase. Whenever I go down below 50%, I was switching to the bleed phase, go for my SP2 and shoot right back up to full health, because of how special, like, Claire's regeneration is directly proportional on damage you do, and because of power shield, we are just doing a lot of damage on the special attacks. So as you can see, like, full yellow bar once again, and we're gaining a lot of power here as well. So it's a very easy fight with clairvoyant, and again, Nick Fury should also be a really good counter. If you know more counters, again, leave them down in the comment section down below. So let's move on to the next fight, which is, I think, one of the harder ones in this quest, like, in my opinion. So the third fight is going to be Warlock, and I'm not sure about you, but I really do not like fighting this guy. Clairvoyant is an option. You can gain a lot of power here because he's bleed immune, and while you do not have the infection on, you can regenerate, but just a little bit. His special one, if it's unblockable, can be really hard to evade, and if you block it later on, it's a lot of block damage. You can also go with your special 3s with clairvoyant. That could be really nice. Here he applied armor breaks on me, which is giving me some regeneration, but as soon as the infection is on, it is starting to degenerate me, which is not good. So here I went for the SP3. So here, like, in this fight for this Warlock, I mostly used Aegon, and he was able to do some really high damage. So I imagine Corvus is going to be really good here, because he can get the mutant charge and the tech charge before this fight, and after that, like, he does do a lot of damage with suicide masteries. He can out damage a lot of characters and be really good here. So here in Aegon fight, like, we are going to, I think, go for a heavy attack and get hit on purpose. I'm not great at it, but here I did it. So, like, now we have 7 furies. We are going to hit like a truck, like almost 20,000 medium, 12,000 light attacks. We are doing some serious damage. The furies are gone now, but anyway, so third counter is Dr. Doom. Not the best counter, but he can work. Also keep in mind that there is some offensive ability reduction that Warlock has going on for him, because one time I went for my SP3 and then the light attack didn't power drain him, so I got blasted by SP3. That happened on the live stream. But he is really good for this if you run willpower and you do not want to turn it off, because otherwise, when you have infection on you and he uses SP1, it puts a shock on you. But Doom is shock immune, and another thing, like, if you bait SP2 instead, it puts an armor break on you. But Dr. Doom is also armor break immune, so he works really well here. Not the best counter to this Warlock, but you can again go for the SP2s, and the incinerates will eventually get him down. This is the point where if you build up your Aegon on the first Gwenpool, then you're all set basically. So, like you saw there, 20,000 mediums, 15,000 light attacks. We are doing some insane damage. Now this SP1, as you can see, like, it does a lot of block damage, so you really need to, and it's a really uncommon special to Dex, I'd say. So yeah, that did end up costing me some revives at the end, because I was out of potions. So I was playing at like 10% health, and if I even block 2 of his SP1 bullets kind of thing, then that would kill me. Now this is a really easy fight, I would say. The Deadpool, I use Nick Fury here, soloed him even at the end. Archangel works really well, and Clairvoyant, I feel like I have said Clairvoyant works for all, like, every fight except Mysterio, and maybe she can technically work for Mysterio as well. Like, she is a goddess in this game, so versatile. But here, like, I use Claire a lot to heal up here after Warlock. Like, Warlock was because of the willpower. He was degenerating me a little bit, and here I would just regenerate to 70% and then 100% on Howard. Claire saved me so many items in this run. And with the Fury, like, you can get your SP2. You have to be careful about the Hurt Locker node, so like you can't use the same special attack twice. And he also has backup recovery, so he gains a lot of power, around 50%. And every time you use a special attack, he also gains a bar of power. So whenever you are basically using a special and controlling his power, you have to be really careful, otherwise you will very easily push him to your SP3. But another pro of using Claire is SP3 doesn't do any damage. Like, it does very less damage. Even at the final Deadpool, you can take SP3 with Claire and survive, because she is also bleed immune. And the bleed with other characters, the bleed at the end will kill you, but with Claire it's just so easy. Here with Nick Fury, I just didn't even use my special attack for the longest time. And when he goes really down, like, there is a phase of aspect of Genesis, I think, where if you're close to him, like, he will regenerate a little bit, and if you're close to him, you are going to take a lot of damage. So make sure you have some distance at that time. Deadpool just has really easy special attacks to bait, and you can take advantage of the node where when you use a special attack, they gain a bar of power, because that can, like, every time he uses a special, it is a free opening without taking any block damage. So overall, again, I think that it is probably the easiest fight, as long as you're good at managing your special attacks. Here we are like completely unblockable. I'm not sure where our Fury went actually, but it is not here. But we will still be able to solo this guy relatively easily with Nick Fury, and this is, I think, the second last Deadpool. So now let's move on to Aegon, and Aegon can handle all of these fights except the Rage Howard the Duck, as far as I know. He just works, after you build him up, he just does so much damage that there is almost nothing in this game that he can't handle. You can use your heavy attack for the extra damage from all the Furies and everything. Here I went for the SP2. So this is the backup recovery I was talking about. I got got blasted by SP3 after that, and the bleed ended up killing me. But this is the next fight, Mysterio, the hardest fight in this quest in my opinion. As I saw there, Aegon, by far the best counter for this guy. Corvus would also work in a very similar way. I suppose that he just does massive damage. You slap on a cosmic power boost, get back to back SP2s, and most fights will probably be over. So these two, I think, are the best counters. I also tried, this has masochism, and that is tricky. So Mysterios, they're just very annoying to fight in general, because if you bait the SP1 and you block the beams, I don't think they're fully evadable, are they? But I can't evade them at least. So if you block them, it's a lot of block damage, and plus after that there is a phase where you can't hit them. Also you kind of need a poison immune, so Aegon can shrug them off. I have heard that Hyperion is really good for this fight, but it is one of the harder fights, and I definitely use a bunch of revives on this guy. So now moving on, the final boss, Paraham. This is not a hard fight at all. I didn't use any revives here. I just had Aegon and Nick Fury alive at this point. So between the two of them, they definitely managed to take him down. As you can see, like, we're doing some massive damage here, and he's just bleeding to death. I don't think you need a particular counter. I've seen people taking Venom so that he doesn't evade, but you don't really, like, if you're bringing in Nick Fury, you're bringing in Aegon, you should be fine. So here we will be finishing it off with Aegon. And yeah, do let me know if you liked the video, and hope you did. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Like this video, share with your alliance, and bye bye.